Hello everyone, so today we got to play Beez.
Beez.
So, not gonna lie, was kind of excited when Randy brought it home. So our nickname for our family is Team Swarm, so I've kind of fallen in love with some bees.
Our family initials, that's the reason why. It's
Yes.
SWARM, so.
Yeah, so each swarm, each one has an initial. So I was super excited. I've kind of fallen in love with bees, and then he opened it up and said, "Hey, come check this out."
And these are adorable. I mean, these
I
pieces, these little bees are
know.
just, I was not expecting that when I opened this, because the tiles, we're going to go into quality anyway, so I guess we can go ahead and jump right into this.
Yeah.
The little flower tiles are very plain. As a matter of fact, I don't know why they chose to go with different colors, backgrounds. Like they're all shades of yellow. And, you know, the flower itself is fine, but the backgrounds are just really drab. And
Why
did they stick with
consistent?
one color? I mean, it's like they're both yellows, but they're not the same yellow. So
It's almost like they did a honeycomb, but then put flowers on top.
I don't
I'm not
understand
sure
their
what they
choices
did
there,
there.
but
I
like
really don't.
there are at least there's four shades of yellow, 3 shades of yellow. These match. It's like, well, why did you choose to do 3 different shades of yellow in this? I don't understand the choices there.
Yeah, I mean, the flowers themselves are fine. They're kind of cute. And the cards are absolutely adorable, as are the player boards.
Oh, the player boards are amazing. And
Those are gorgeous.
They went above and beyond on these player boards. We'll get
Mhm.
shot down here, and I'll summon it. Ooh.
You know, your summoning powers will eventually run out.
You're gonna do that one time on purpose and make me look like it, or I'll summon the wrong thing or something. Yeah. Anyway.
It's a plan of mine.
So anyway, these player boards are fantastic. They really went above and beyond on these.
Yeah.
So it's really odd the choices they made, because some of it is just exceptional,
I know.
and some of it is just awful. And I don't understand why. It's like, why did they do that? And
Well, see, I mean, I just
the
love.
cards are not even good. These are, I mean, they're pretty, or they're okay. I mean, they're functional, but they're thin and there's no texture to them. So it was like, we spent all of our cost of this game on the player boards. They even put plastic inside the spots.
So it fits your circle.
So it would fit the circles, but it's really kind of an unnecessary ad, but it's nice.
No, I mean, for the small. Yeah, listen, okay, they went for high quality board. Little unsure about their color choices for the tiles.
Yeah.
The bees are absolutely fantastic.
Yes,
So
I think they spent all their investment on those, and they're like, let's cut cost elsewhere. And that's the only thing I can think.
if you're going to do the game, just do the game.
Yeah,
Right? Like,
if you're going to sink all that money in, sink it in, make the whole thing nice. But to make certain pieces exceptionally
but
nice.
this may just be like the different colors on the board. That may have been just a designer choice, which we don't.
Well, I mean,
agree
it
with.
does match the rule book to an extent as far as the different colors, but I don't know why they chose it. It doesn't make a good table presence at all.
Yeah, it just kind of is like hodgepodge. So overall quality, though, there's some really great components, and then there's some okay components. What score would you give it?
It's really hard to score it, because I want to score it high for the components that are there, but then I want to pull it down quite a bit for the ones that are really
It's
bad.
like, can we divide this game in half? Can we
Yeah.
put the bees and the player board on one half
It's
of the
a
game?
different game entirely, yes.
I mean,
Um,
I'm going to expand more on that.
yeah, we'll get to that later. As far as, I'm going to give it, I'm going to have to give it a 6. As much as I think, if it were just the bees and the player board, it would be an 8 or a 9.
Absolutely.
But the rest of this, I'm going to pull down to a 4, I think. I mean,
Really, a 4?
these really annoy me. I mean, they're good quality
They don't
thickness.
annoy me as much.
The colors are just hideous, and it would have been nice if they did the flowers and had some kind of background, like a water or plants or whatever. There's no reason. It's just that plain awful yellowish. It's almost like a school bus yellow on
it
some of
almost
these.
feels like they're trying to combine a honeycomb with flowers, but by that point, like you don't have flowers in the actual honeycomb themselves.
Yeah, it's just
It
a
just
really
doesn't work.
odd choice. I mean, it's honey, I guess the color of they're saying it's honey, but one color would have been better. I mean, even if they went with the hideous, ugly yellow across the board, it would have been fine. But to have the different yellows, because you randomize the board, so the distribution isn't always going to be the same.
Right.
And you're going to have this pattern that's just, ugly. So I'm going to stick with my 6. I don't think it's. I mean, as much as I love the Beez and the player boards, I can't give it more than that because of all the other stuff.
I'm going to be a little more generous and give it a 7 because the color patching, the yellow doesn't. I don't mind the yellow as much. I do wish they were consistent with the yellow. Like, pick a yellow, stick with it. Or did something where it connects the board a little much better, because the way it is now, it's definitely tiles, right? You don't like see a cohesive board. So that's where I'm at for that. So theme.
Well, before we go to theme, let's at least a little bit allude to what the game is. So this is it's basically a programming your moves game. Your bee has on the side of it, it's got a 6-sided hex it sets on that has numbers that tell you how far the bee can move in each individual direction. So your goal is to try to collect nectar, which that is cleverly the colors of the flower you're on. So if it's the petals, it matches the petals, and if it's the central portion, which if I were bigger in botany, I could tell you what that was. But if you landed in the middle section, you collect the color of that plus one of the nectars from the outside.
And honestly, I was fine with the wooden tokens and that piece of it. Like, having the different colors there made some sense to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically you're trying to collect nectar on flowers. But so back onto theme, again, your bee trying to collect some nectar so you can get honey in certain formations based on your objectives. But the theme, again, I was super excited about. Like I said, because of our family's nickname, something that we've kind of really owned, I was super excited about this theme. And a lot of the art is absolutely gorgeous. I love what they did for the cards. I love what they did for the board. So for theme, I would have to give it at least an 8 for me.
Yeah, I think they integrated the theme well into the gameplay. I mean, you're programming the bees to land on to get the nectar, and it goes to your honeycomb, and based upon the number of spaces you moved, you place it in your honeycomb in different patterns, and you're trying to form either collect certain colors, depending on what your goal is. There's kind of like an easy, medium, hard on the goals.
What?
Like the collecting a certain color ones were the easy ones. The next level was kind of a basic pattern, and the last one was an advanced pattern, if you notice on the three different jars.
They were all hard.
Okay, well, yeah. But the idea is that you're trying to get it, but you only have so many spots in your honeycomb for each number of move spaces, so you can't always move 5 and collect, or you won't be able to collect. And with the 2-player, you play with less spaces, so it's one of the problems we ran into, which we'll get into gameplay in a little bit, but there's a possibility that nobody meets the end-game condition, which is we'll get into in a little bit. But as far as theme goes, they integrated this really well into the
yes.
I think an 8 is fair on this. I really do. I mean, I think thematically it does incorporate the feel of your bee moving around and collecting nectar.
Yeah, because you can't. The thing is you can't go forward. So wherever your bee is, it has to change direction. So it literally is like a flitting bee, and I thought that was kind of cool with it.
Yeah.
So they really did think you do feel like a bee flitting around collecting nectar. So that's kind of cool. And that, if anything, I'm hesitant to give it an 8 because I think it deserves higher. But I feel comfortable at an 8.
Yeah.
Like, if you could have made an argument for 9, I probably would have been like,
well,
yeah.
Remember, theme typically includes art, and
that's where you end up with these petals.
Yeah, I would go. That actually would pull me back down a little bit, except for I've already penalized it on quality for the fact that the board presence is that horrible. All right, so rule book's next. The rule book. It wasn't real hard to read. I don't like the font they chose in some of this. It was kind of odd that they chose this kind of like half cursive font, but it wasn't that hard to read.
I like it for the theme.
Yeah, it also is a centerfold, which I absolutely hate. I hate these type of rules.
If you don't realize that by now, you haven't watched any of our reviews.
It's not a very advanced game. It doesn't require mental rules. The rules have plenty of pictures. There was one rule we missed in it, but it wasn't really key to the game. It was basically if you hit a certain space, you can take a turn again. It wasn't real important, but we caught it, halfway through the game.
We wouldn't have used it anyway.
But yeah, I mean, you can read through this in a matter of a couple minutes and understand the game. It's not a lot to it. The rules are fine. They're not exciting. And again, the drab yellow, but I'm sure somebody likes. But
I do. I'm fine with the yellow. I'm actually fine with the yellow. I think it's pretty. I love with the teal accent on it.
Yeah.
I actually like the.
I mean, it suits honey. It suits the theme, I guess. But I'm just not a big yellow person.
You really aren't.
I really despise it. It's like my least favorite color of all.
Really?
Yes.
Duly noted.
So. I'm fine. It's not great, but I'll give it an 8 just because. I mean, I have a feeling you're going to get some really low scores in a second, so we'll go with an 8 for this one.
All right, I'm going to lead gameplay because I have an opinion. All right. So overall gameplay, like you already mentioned, you move your bee around, collect Hector based on the different sides of your bee. I do not like this game, guys. I can't even tell you really why, except I was bored yet frustrated yet.
Well,
I don't know.
First of all, it's a programming game, which is something you're not used to playing. We haven't played a lot of programming games. I've got a few, but we haven't played them.
We played Whitechapel.
That's not a programming game.
Well, it's a deductive.
A programming game is like Robo Rally, and basically you set down your moves, and you have to kind of plan where you're going to go each turn, and because you got to know this angle is going to cause me to move this many spaces, therefore I'm not going to land where
No. I understand those kinds of games.
I didn't say you didn't understand them. I'm just saying we haven't played them.
I just don't think I would like them.
Exactly. That was my point. Whenever I started reading the rules and saw it was a programming game, I'm like, I don't know if she's going to like this. And I would like to try some of those, so I'm kind of interested. So it increased my interest in the game because I came in with a really low idea of what this was going to be. I know it's by the same company that makes Azul, so that's why I bought it.
When you said that, I was like, oh, Beez, Azul, I like this. This should be fine.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
It's definitely not our cup of tea. Now, if you're really into programming games like Robo Rally, you might enjoy this. The difference here is
it's too short.
It's too short, and it doesn't. The programming in Robo Rally is interesting because you program several moves, and if you collide with things. Now, I guess we've played Colt Express. That's kind of a programming game. But you play your moves, and if something happens to interfere with your moves, you don't get to complete your whole
See,
action.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, but it's not that. You're taking one action, and you're moving one direction, but you kind of have to plan ahead to know, if I turn this way, I'm going to go this direction next.
See, and this might be a little bit better if we didn't play the two-player board, because it felt like we were trapped.
Yeah, it was very limiting on the two-player. I don't know if I would ever play this again on two-player. I might try it with 3 or 4 just to see what the difference is.
I might be willing to no, I really would just wait till he played it and figure it out if it was good or not, get his feedback first.
The bigger issues were, like, as you pointed out during the game, there wasn't enough nectar to necessarily guarantee that anybody was going to end the game.
Right.
And there wasn't a rule in the rule book that said the game ends either if somebody collects 12 nectar or the game ends if the nectar runs out. There was no rule in there of that, so they're not expecting that to happen. So I can't imagine I missed anything because the rule book is that short.
It feels like once you get ahead, you're like.
Well, but
being ahead
in this being ahead in collecting nectar is not all that important because it's really about who gets to fill those.
Right. I mean, we were only 4 points different.
Right.
And you had.
I had way more nectar.
Actually, 5 more nectar than I did.
So yeah, it's not about how much nectar you get necessarily. It's more about making sure you meet the criteria on the conditions. And there's 3 common ones: an easy, medium, and a hard, as I mentioned. And then you get to draft 3 cards, or pick 3 cards. Not really draft, but you get 3 cards dealt to you, 1 from each set, and you get to keep 2 of them. So you can choose if you want to make it more difficult on yourself. but potentially
Easy.
get more points.
I should have chose easy.
And you probably would have won because I chose the 2 harder ones and I didn't fulfill
Well,
one of
I
mine.
chose the hardest one and the least one.
Mhm.
But I was only one away from getting my hardest one, so I should have.
Yeah, I mean, I was very frustrated because I wanted to get that hardest one. I wanted, and
Well, all I would have had to do was then, like, place that there and I would have been fine, but I was trying to get that X and I shouldn't have bothered. But, so let's give it a score, though. We've kind of talked around it. What would you rate this?
this is one of the few games I think I would rather play Catan. I'm gonna go with 4. I honestly, there wasn't enough to it to even tell me that this was up to the level of Catan. It's not horrible. I mean, it's not a bad, horrible game. It's the fact that
for the right person, I'm sure it's fantastic.
Well, I don't know about fantastic. It's playable. I mean, the frustrating thing is that it's the fact that, the rule, the end game rule is one thing that they definitely needed to add that criteria because there's just doing the math. I don't think there's any way you could guarantee somebody was going to get 12. But if the game doesn't end, we can just spend the rest of the evening just walking around, flying around with our bees until they die.
I think we can just assume
That they all died. I'm going to assume that. They did not survive the winter, sadly.
So you're giving it a 4.
I'm sticking with a 4 on gameplay. I think I was playing this thinking, I could be playing Catan, which is unusual for me.
I'm with you. I would rather play so many other games than this game.
But the bees are cute. Let me go back. Bees are cute.
Look, see, here's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out how can I take certain pieces
Yes.
and play in different games.
Let's see. Let's take these and these and.
It's actually damaging this game. Stop. That's unusual. I think I'm gonna have to give it a 3. I really.
You're going even lower. See,
and
you gave me like trouble about going 4. You're going. So you guys, this is new. You haven't seen us go really down on a game.
This game was awful. I was like, when does this end?
I wish I could have 15 minutes of my life back. Really, actually 30 now that we've done this review.
So, would you play it again?
Well, actually, yes, that's the funny thing. Because I really want to see that 4-player version. Because I think it would be very chaotic, and I enjoy chaos. But I really don't. I really hate these tiles, and I might want to paint them before we play it. I don't know. The yellow is really annoying me. No, I do want to.
Would you play it more than one more time?
The thing is, I probably wouldn't play more than one. The thing is
there you go.
I don't like playing games 2-player, first of all, and we played this 2-player, and I don't ever think a game is fairly evaluated by doing just a 2-player playthrough, because almost invariably the 2-player is worse.
Especially with the current status in the world.
I know.
Some games have to hold up to 2-player.
I don't disagree with you. I'm just saying it's not, to me, a fair assessment of a game when you only have 2 players, because almost invariably they dumb down the game for 2 players. There's very few good games for 2.
I don't feel like this was dumbed down any.
No, it was restricted in distance and such, and who knows? Maybe if you had 4 players, maybe it would, or 3. Well, maybe 4. I can't guarantee mathematically that somebody's gonna reach 12. I doubt, because it's only going to add in 3 times 5, 15 more nectar, plus the centrals, so 20. Yeah, 20 more nectar into the game
with 2 other players.
So yeah, it still doesn't guarantee somebody will get 12.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Would I play this again? No.
Yeah. I somehow knew that was going to be your answer.
Will I play with the bees?
With a purple. Yes, you will absolutely be playing with these bees.
Yes, I will find a game.
I have a feeling those bees are going to be invading Tang Garden very soon.
Oh, that's a good idea. These could be ornamentation.
Those are going to kill those people. Those are the killer bees that are invading and killing Tang Garden residents.
All right, guys. What is the new purpose for the bees? That's your goal.
Yeah,
You
tell us
me.
what we can do with these adorable bees, and if you can, bonus points, if you can use the numbers on the hexes on the sides. We'll put pictures of them down in the bottom, and you can tell us what to do with the bees that involves these numbers. There's fractions, so you can actually sever the bee in half if you want it, because there's 1/5 and 2/4, and 3 if you want to have multiple bees. So you can decide what you want to do with these bees, but we definitely love the bees, and we love these player boards. So
Yeah,
if we
we
can
need to
invent a
figure
new game that uses this board and those bees, that would be perfect.
This is so sad. I think this is, well, anyway. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate you hanging out with us today. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell if you would like to see more reviews. And no need to purchase this one.
Yeah. Although I had a lot of fun doing the review compared to the game.
I did.
The review was much more fun.
That should say something. Okay, guys, that really should. But again, thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.